This is RFCMaki with another flight report, and this time also a map report for custom battles, custom sim battles played in War Thunder on the Xbox One. I've recently discovered that I have a almost new favorite map. This map is great looking, it's a lot of fun, and it definitely ensures that there are lots of really great battles. This map is the Smolensk map, which is a Russian map. Here we are taking off from the Allied airfield. In this game, I'm flying a Hurricane Mark 1. So you can see there's the airfield. We're lifting off in custom sim battles. So in these custom sim battles, I lock the view to cockpit views. The ability is flying with an external view. The instructor is turned off. Pilots are forced to use all of their skills to locate and identify enemies as nothing is marked. Now here you can see the Smolensk map with the Allied airfield on the left and the Axis airfield on the right. Most of the battle takes place in the middle of the field around the center of the battle. It takes a couple of minutes to get there, which I like, because that allows you to get altitude and to move in. There are ground targets on this map as well as tank targets on this map, which makes for a very varied place to go doing your battles. So here we are rapidly approaching the city of Smolensk, and one of the things I like about this map is first of all the colors. I love the fall trees in this map. I love that it gives a little bit of a different feel than a lot of the other maps I play on. I also like that this map has a complex geology. You can see there's a creek running down the middle of the map, and here I am diving to follow the creek, and that creek on the left-hand side here is going to pass a train station, a large train station, so you'll see a number of train tracks. Just past that will be some factories and some buildings, and off to the right you can begin to see the walls of the actual city of Smolensk itself. In this battle, the Axis tanks are moving from the east of the map towards the west of the map and attacking the city and the city walls. Your job then is to defend the city from Axis bombers if you're flying the Allies, and I'll go ahead and also attack some of the Axis tanks. Here we've come upon an Italian, I forget which one this is, an Italian bomber here, and doing a couple of hits. Most of the battles in this one, as with most of these AI sim battles, take place at fairly low altitudes because many of the planes, the lower tier planes anyway, are diving, bombing on the ground tanks and ground units, so they're flying fairly low, and then up above you'll often find regular bombers. So here we've got a couple of hits on the plane, launching in, landing a few more hits. Here I should point out, by the way, I'm flying with the T-HOTUS flight stick for Xbox One. Some of my flight stick controls will begin to wear out a little bit, so I'm also using things like the Xbox controller for rudder, and I'm using the Xbox controller to help adjust a couple things like zooming in and out of the view. Here you can see getting on this guy 6, landing a few more hits, taking a couple of hits myself. You can begin to see right here somebody else begins to fire with this plane, does some damage to it. At this point I thought for sure that an AI had stolen my kill. There were no other human players in the game, but then an AI had stolen my kill and shot him down. You saw those hits led to some flames. I was feeling kind of annoyed here, but when this plane goes down, I'm given the credits. I must have done enough damage to bring that down. There's another of the same Italian sort of low-flying bombers, and so I'm on its 6 as well here, flying just over the edge of the city. You can see the city walls down there below me to my right and up the buildings. One of the nice things about this, and you can see this again later on, is it's because of the diversity of the map, and because most of the battles take place over the central city, it's very easy in general. There's some good hits as the guy's diving. It's very easy in general to orient yourself to not get lost. You can find a couple landmarks here to help you to keep knowing where you are. Now when I set custom sim battles, I actually set the game so that the player's airplane, but only the player's airplane, is marked on the map. Some people who set custom battles like to leave nobody marked on the map. You really do have to rely on your landmarks here to figure out where you are. So this would be a very good map for that kind of activity. I found the enemy plane again, that Italian bomber, so I'm trying to approach it, do a few more hits. I've got my convergence set to about 250 meters here, and a couple more hits. Not enough to bring it down, but definitely to do some damage there. You can see he's really trailing smoke. One of the things about the AI is they rarely seriously evade you. They kind of stay about their business. So this guy's kind of curving back to head off to bomb a couple things again, which means that I can loop in behind him, get a few more hits, and I've overshot it there. So instead of dropping back on his tail and just crashing into him, I'm going to go ahead and loop around again to see if I can't get back on his 6. You can see somebody else is moving in as well on the 6. And I went ahead and brought this guy down. This is an SM-79, that's what that is. Alright, so now you can see I'm heading back over towards the city. You can see below me a number of the buildings here, and off to my right some of the city walls. You'll be able to see in just a moment. I've taken a couple of hits here, so I'm considering flying back to the base. Now there are no other air bases nearby, so you're going to have to fly back to the base. And here you can see actually one of the landmarks of Smolensk city, and this is the cathedral, big kind of green cathedral sitting on a hill in the middle of the town. And so of course I got really curious about this particular feature and went ahead and looked it up on the internet and found out that this building is in fact a real live building called the Upensky Cathedral, located in downtown Smolensk, and it looks very much like the modeled cathedral in the game, so I thought that was pretty cool. The same green, the same large round windows, and it becomes a very nice marker to help you figure out exactly where you are on the map when you're flying. So we've just circled that now, and we're looping back around. You can see there's a plane here with smoke coming out, and I thought I could climb out at 6. Then I realized this is actually an Allied, an American dive bomber, so rather than fire on it, you can tell by the stocky body and the straight wings there. And he's diving down on those tanks that are approaching on the hills just outside. So here I'm going to loop back to the right, and you'll see that the enemy tanks have just reached the top of the hill just outside the city. I'm terrible at hitting ground targets with machine guns, so I give it a pathetic little attempt there. You can see there's a couple of the tanks on the ground. They're not marked, but you can see the smoke where they're driving and some of their movement. And here as we turn towards the city, you can see the city walls that they're approaching. So at this point, I went ahead, just figured it was worth showing you a little bit of that map, so I'm flying down low. And you can see again, this is a photograph of the actual Smolensk city walls with those little standard round pointed towers around the outside. And you can see as we fly back into the game, you'll be able to see those towers are also exact same here. So you can see the city walls and the city towers there as we do a little flyby with the cathedral in the background. And now we cross the river, head back over the factory towers, and sort of just loop around just over top of the railway station. You can see some of the train tracks down below there. So I'm actually heading away from the Allied base here and looping around again, seeing if I can't find somebody to go after. Again, you can see planes diving down on those bad guy tanks just outside the city walls. And that's an Allied plane there, so I will leave it alone. And double back. And head back over the city again. And once again, it's very easy to orient yourself in this map. Most of the map takes place down at the center. You can also see, if you look up towards the sky, a couple high altitude dots, which are almost certainly, with the settings that I use, HE-111 bombers, and or a couple of different German bombers. So there's that same plane there smoking, and here we find another plane that I'm going to go over top of, try to ID it as it flew underneath me. I'm going to loop around and see if I can figure out what that was that just went underneath me. You can see a couple bombers up high. There's a lot of ground actions, tanks and vehicles and artillery on the ground to attack each other. You can again see some of that smoke along the city walls as those bad guy tanks, those German tanks, begin to get closer and closer to the city walls. And here we have a little bit of concern because I may be getting low on ammo and may be getting low on, not on fuel. I took enough fuel in this game, but you can see another hit on one of those SM-79s. A little bit more firing. And enough to knock out the gunner, do some damage. And I got the guy in flames, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up and let that plane go down. Oh, look, I'm sorry, that was a Breda. I misidentified that plane. And he goes down satisfyingly, so a couple relatively easy kills down below. And here again, we move back around. The train station is just above me, the city's to my left, cathedral's to my left. And there you can see the clear outline of a BF-109 flying low. So I thought, let's see if I can't go after a fighter this time. And one quick burst as he flies across my gun sights, only discover that I am out of ammo. No guns, no cannons, no anything. So there he is below. I followed him here because I thought he was going to crash into the ground. But he was just cutting the grass with his propeller. And there's nothing I can do about him or anybody else. So at this point I decided it's worth reversing direction and heading back to my airfield in order to land. Now it takes a little bit of time to get back to the airfield, so you do have to kind of keep an eye on your six, make sure nobody follows you. But what I've seen in this map as compared to some other maps like Poland, the bad guy bombers are much less likely to follow you all the way back to your airbase. So once you get out of the main combat zone, you are more likely to be able to get back safely without anybody on your six. I figured here I'd do another quick flyby of the cathedral. There's the downtown factories, and then we'll do a quick pass over top of the railway station. You can see there are a number of train tracks that all converge in one place. You get a quick view there. Now, just over this hill is what looks to me to be some kind of an airbase, but this airbase does not have a full-length landing strip, and I have in various games tried landing on this airbase, especially when my plane's been so damaged I can't make it back. The strip is kind of short, and even if you do land on it, it will not refuel you or reload you, at least not as an allied pilot. You can see there's kind of a weird right angle. That's an airstrip at all, but you can also see that there are what look to be airplane hangars and a whole military section down there to my right. Now this is later in the game. I did manage to go back and chase after that or a different 109, and so I figured I'd go ahead and include this duel in here. Managed to get a few hits on the guy. You can see somebody's on my 6. So I figure I slowed down there, so I probably managed to throw whoever's on my 6 off a little bit. There's the 109 off in the distance, and I tried a deflection shot, and amazingly enough, managed to cut the plane in half with that shot. You can see the 109 flipped in half, so I was pretty pleased with that kill, so I went ahead and added it into the end. The end result here at the Smolensk is an easy map. It's great for guaranteed battles in the middle of the map. It's easy to navigate, and it's a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys in the skies. Take care, and cheers.